Leo, welcome to your Hopes, Fears, and Reality spread. As per usual, you can click right on that description box below and it will talk about the significance of the spread as well as the placement of each card. I do have a playlist with each astrological sign, starting with the most recent read, moving backward. And I will not add last week's read to that playlist until I'm done uploading this week's videos to YouTube. So Friday afternoon, that should be all sorted out in the way it needs to be. Okay, here we go. Leo. Wow. I like it. Okay, so the time to create something new is here. Okay? You've been waiting on a big change. You've been waiting on something to adjust and shift. And, you sowed your seeds at one point, and you've been waiting on this harvest to come in. And you have the recipe for what it is that you want to do with this harvest in order to create something better than what you had before, in order to create something better than the sum of its parts. Um, and that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping to take this harvest and create something wonderful with it. You've recognized that you've put in a lot of work and things just need to change. You fear that old wounds from the past and old attempts will stand in the way. So it kind of feels like you're wondering, have I learned all the appropriate lessons to really move forward with this thing, or do I still have some false perceptions? And that's what you fear. You're like, well, I have all the confidence that I'm going to do this, but I know it doesn't always work out when I feel this way. That's that fear right there. It's a little bit of self-doubt. But ultimately, your hope is very strong and your self doubt is kind of mild. So it's almost like a little seed of self doubt is planted, and you just kind of have to squash that out if you're going to move forward with what you hope. Now, this change is requiring you to let go of an old idea, to actually step away from maybe the way you used to do things and gather information on a new way to do things. Or this hope requires you to walk away from some people in your life and go out and make new contacts. So this could be vocational. This could be having to maybe not leave a job, but to rework your network. This could be about leaving a job, or this could be about leaving a group of friends behind. Whatever it is, there's something that has to be left behind, and you know that you have to fill that spot with something else. So that's why I feel like it's a network of people in some way, shape, or form. You're like, well, these people aren't necessarily serving me. I can find better friends than this. Or the people in this job aren't helping me reach my goals. I'm going to go and see if somebody else can mentor me, or if this other client is a better, things like that. You're reworking your resources. You're cutting your losses and you're accepting that you have to cut your losses first in order to gain something new. This is interesting. Um, so you have two nines here. You have the Nine of Pentacles in the inverse, which is my single independent ladies card. And then you have your Nine of Cups, which is all about like being comfortable within your environment and having some emotional fulfillment in what you found. So what I'm getting from this is that your emotional fulfillment and your earthly energy regarding resources are opposing each other to an extent. But you're okay with that because you recognize that this energy is temporary. Okay? You feel like you have to hold on to your hope in order to push through. Okay? So you need a little bit of blind faith. But here's that little seed of self doubt again. So, Leo, it seems to me like you are very optimistic, which is a very Leo trait. You are very optimistic of what's to come, but you have a healthy fear of, well, I haven't always done things, the best way in the past. Am I really doing things the best way now? Which is a good way to look at things because you aren't looking at the past as a complete failure. You're looking at the past as a way to learn from past mistakes. You are going back and saying, okay, this happened last time, so I'm going to do it different this time. And like I say, and this came up a lot this week with several different readings, but I say it a lot in my readings. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. You're actively making sure you don't do what you've always done. So there's a little bit of unknown, which is what's giving you that doubt because you're doing things differently than you did in the past. So you're going to be expecting different outcomes. It's an experimental phase. But the beautiful part about it is between your hopes and your reality, there's a lot of cards to handle here. Between your hopes and your reality, you're taking a systematic approach. You aren't coming in guns ablazing like a Leo normally does. That's what you're doing different is you're taking your time 1 foot at a time, and as you come into problems, you will stop, you will resolve that problem, and then you will move forward because you don't want to get where you're going and wind up back where you started. You don't want to have to turn around to fix something. You want to take a systematic approach, making small changes as you go along because you are walking into uncharted territory. But you have the faith that what you're walking to is worth a lot more than what you're leaving behind. Leo, I hope you found a message that serves your highest good, and I will see you next week.